How you doing? It's Joe Stunner Boxing again. Nice to have you here. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. If you've already subscribed, thank you very much. All support is always appreciated. Hit the like button, share the video. You know, it's all good. It's all great. Thank you very much. Okay, so I read that, you may have read this as well, that Jarrell Miller is, his ban, his 2-year ban is up. And he's going to be fighting again. And it's a simple question to you. You know, give me your feedback in the comments. But my question is, it's almost rhetorical, but you tell me your thoughts. If Jarrell Miller doesn't deserve to be banned from boxing for life, who does? I'm not going to rehash what, you know, I'm sure you're aware of what Miller's done. He's like a walk-in pharmacy. They were nicknaming him Big Pharma because his nickname was Big Baby. Big Pharma is far more accurate. My view is that he should be banned for life. That I'd even go as far as to say his victories over an extended period anyway, certainly at world level, should be called no contests. Difficult to prove, isn't it? Was he on anything? I'd put my house on it that he was taking steroids and, you know, indefinitely for God knows how long, and that his entire career has basically been a sham, and that he is actually, you know, big fraud would be a good phrase for the guy, a good nickname, because that's what he is, a fraud. So do you agree that he should be banned for life? I think he should. I don't think boxing's a joke. The limited experience I have of doing it, very limited, very long time ago, even that, you know, makes you realise, even if you mess around and you sort of dip your toes in the water, that the boxing ring is the loneliest place on earth. If you've got the guts to get in that ring, it should be a fair fight. And of course, performance-enhancing drugs are an absolute. I'd go as far as to say, I'll use the in vogue word. They're a pandemic in boxing. Have been for some time. I was talking to a couple of younger boxing fans recently, and they were saying, yeah, you know, this is nothing new. This goes back to the 90s, and Roy Jones getting busted, and James Toney. Oh no, it goes way back before that. Perfect example would be a guy called Bob Hazelton, who was a tall white American guy who I think he was about 6'6" or something, 6'7" maybe. But I think he started off as a light heavyweight, so he was a skinny beanpole guy. And he got fed to George Foreman early on in his career. I think he lost his first 5 fights, or 5 of his first 6, or something like that. He started popping steroids, and towards the end of his career, he was knocking out Bob Foster. The Bob Foster. And then afterwards, after his career finished, because he didn't have much success, but he bulked up to heavyweight, you know, and the knockout of Foster was the, if you want to call us any kind of steroid induced victory a high point, then you can. So I suppose he would say that was the high point of his career. But he carried on taking steroids after his boxing career. He liked that sort of buff, vain, you know, look, big muscular look. But it ended up, it resulted in him having both his legs amputated because of the effects of the steroids. Now, as I've said in previous videos, I work for a drug and alcohol agency helping people with addictions, and we have a needle exchange there. And we get a lot of guys coming in who use steroids. And every time a guy comes in, we always say, you experienced this, doing the cycle, you know, steroids, what are you using? Do you know about keeping your sights clean? Do you know exactly what you're using, what these drugs do to you, blah, blah, blah. So we always give them like the heads up. But back in the 60s, you know, someone like the guy I just mentioned, Bob Hazelton, he didn't know what he was taking. He was popping them like Smarties and having a good old time. And it made him bigger, it made him stronger. And yeah, he's knocking out a Hall of Fame fighter, Bob Foster. I mean, but he didn't think there'd be any repercussions. Getting back to Miller, let's be quite clear. I know I'm probably stating the obvious here. A lot of you already know this, but the stuff Miller was taking, that laundry list of drugs, that wasn't stuff that, you might accidentally take in a drink. That was stuff where you actually have a proper performance enhancing drug cycle, and you take the drugs intravenously, so you inject them, muscular injection, not through the veins, and so he knew exactly what he was doing. And in a boxing ring, people get killed even when it's a fair fight. So to me, this fat fraud should be banned for life. And I don't have time for anyone that says, yeah, but they're all doing it, they're all taking it. No, that's not the attitude to have to anything in life. Well, it is what it is. We just have to go along with it. Nothing ever changes for the better unless you get off your arse and make the effort. Unless you resist what is bad. Everything we take for granted in life now had to be fought for. It wasn't handed to us on a silver platter. So I believe in fighting against performance enhancing drugs. I know there's a lot of money involved and a lot of sanctioning fees involved. It's a subject that a lot of people with power turn a blind eye to. But I think we've got to keep fighting against it. Otherwise, boxers will get killed, and people will have fraudulent careers. They'll learn. There's already been cases where I've always been very, very suspicious of the peak Manny Pacquiao. His body looked to me like it was jacked up and all sorts of stuff. Juan Manuel Marquez, the time when he knocked out Pacquiao, you can say that's poetic justice, but it looked to me like he'd been on something. Definitely. Canelo, we all know about the Eddie Reynoso crew and suspicions about them. Even going back to Holyfield, I had my suspicions. But anyway, tell me what you think about performance enhancing drugs. Is there a way of getting rid of them, of at least limiting their use in boxing? Yeah, just tell me what you think, because to me it's the scourge of our sport and we need to get rid of it. So anyway, tell me what you think. You have a nice day and I'll speak to you soon. Cheers.